Sit back and relax. We listen to Train Kickers podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-hosts Dan and Steve, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. Much like the Phoenix rising from the ashes, was finally able to get these two back. Now, mostly tonight we're going to talk about what people have been up to, stuff like that, maybe a little bit of some future plans and all. We're going to keep this pretty short because it's a little bit later on a Sunday night, and a few of us have a few things to do, but we like to try to get back to some more regular stuff. All right, so without much further ado, what where you guys been for like way oh god, I don't remember the last time you guys were
Well,
actually on.
I think the most important thing we do is start with the congratulations for Dan. Dan,
I was
congratulations.
Yeah.
my,
Yeah, yeah.
my
Uh,
brother-in-law once told me, because he has three kids. What he once told me, he said, um, having like children like that, he's like, it's the greatest blessing I would never wish upon another person. In other
I
words, like just
always,
because of all the
it's,
effort in the
there's so many people are always like, it's so funny. Every time you announce it, oh, your wife is pregnant. Oh, for those not referenced, I had, not I had, my wife had another child, another girl,
Mhm.
healthy baby girl. So that's why I've been out for so long. But it's so funny when you announce to people, they're like, oh yeah, you should get pregnant or, you should have a kid, blah, 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 blah. And they're all jovial, right? And then the moment you announce you're pregnant, they're like, ah, fuck you, welcome to hell, motherfucker. Right? And I'm like, wait, what the hell? What happened? He goes, I just want someone to suffer with.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I never interpreted it that way. His thing was much more of like, like it is a great blessing, but just the amount of effort and work it becomes.
oh, it's a
Like,
lot.
if you
It's a
didn't love
lot.
them, like
Yeah.
it would be overwhelming. But since you do,
It's
but it's
it's
probably
what
still
it
rough
is.
days, you
It's
know?
painful in ways you don't understand.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, like, okay, yeah, when Amelia gets sick, it hurts. But like this year, she started kindergarten, right? And my dumbass decided to put the video on Instagram to make a little video of her starting kindergarten. And Instagram was like, do you want us to help you make this real? And my dumbass was like, sure, what's the worst that can happen?
Oh no.
And I don't know if you saw the reel,
I
but
don't think so,
essentially
no.
it took pictures from my Google Photos of her slowly growing up, and then it ended with the video of her walking into the freaking kindergarten classroom as the song ended, right? And it's like a minute long, and I'm sitting there in my professional development because that's when she started crying. I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I was just fucking, I was gone. I was gone for like 10, 15 minutes.
AI's
Stupid
like,
goddamn
I'm gonna make
Instagram.
this man tear up. Just watch me.
Oh my God, it was so, and I forgot what song they used, but literally as it's like playing, like all the beats, it switches between, it's like live photos. So the photos are moving and then it switches to the next one and she's growing up slowly and then it hits kindergarten. And I'm like, what the, like, why? Why Instagram? Why would you do this?
Now I'm
And
gonna
then I posted
guess
it.
she was like see ya as she's like walking off to school all happy and enjoying herself. Because a lot of
Oh,
times kids do that.
she liked, I don't know, she was with her friends. So she totally was in the mood. Like,
Okay.
she was totally out there and but other than that, started work because my wife's on maternity leave. I take paternity leave the later half of the year.
Nice.
But yeah, not a lot of hobby shit. Ever since the kid. Between the
Oh,
kid and
nice.
Space Marine 2. No, but also Space Marine 2 kind of took up that and the new Guild Wars expansion too. So I just like I stopped painting for so long. Uh I just started painting my BattleTech Kickstarter. I painted a skull cannon. That's about it.
That's all I saw you post.
I dry brushed all my my conquest is all ready to go. Like for going into the contrast paints and oils and stuff. Like that's good to go, but I just haven't even I haven't even reached it yet.
Yeah.
Man. Anyway, that's how
No,
I've been.
no, but very congratulations on that. I mean, it hopefully, from talking to you, it seems like, the school is, work is the
It's a good
bigger
school.
problem,
Yeah.
and if that's the case, then that means life overall is going in a decent way.
Oh yeah, it's a good. No, it's really decent. It's really, and she's a good kid. It's very different from Amelia. Amelia slept through the night within like the first 2 weeks, as every parent who listens to this throws a banana at the screen as I say this.
Well, no, they do. The first one does that to lure you into a
Yeah.
false sense of security.
Oh
That's what
yeah, absolutely.
happens.
And this one gets colicky, gets gassy. We have to give her like gas medication. Um, but she's all chunky and all love. So, and she's still now is around the time when she's starting to smile and do like
Uh,
her cool, like her coos,
hmm.
where she goes "Bah, bah, 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 bah," right, or she like does those weird things. So
It's
it's
talking
good.
like
It's
dog from
good.
Blue's Clues.
I know. How
Exactly.
about you, Steve? How you been?
I've been doing all right. Just the daily grind of work. Since that Conquest rules update's coming out soon,
Yeah.
I decided for the Rogue State community, we're gonna do a little competition. So in little 2-week cycles, we're gonna do little hobby pledges. Every time you complete one of your pledges in that cycle, you get a raffle ticket for a drawing, and we're going to raffle off one of those.
Fish gnomes.
Oh, I always forget the name of these special edition models. It's the fish gnome on the
Yeah.
pumpkin.
The good looking one.
Fishidius.
Yes, Fishidius. Yeah.
Yeah, so raffling up for Fishidius. And if we have 9 people like actively participate in this, it's actually getting bumped up a little bit. One of the guys at Parabellum saw our little challenge that if you could get, 9 people doing this, best painted by community vote gets testing the waters, that laser shark.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
I'm excited to see what people put together for this.
Well, one, I am doing it, and let me hold these guys up. They're getting their basing stuff. I wasn't sure how small or big to make my thing, so you guys can decide. But my hope is, I did some this week. Next week is to, I don't know, conquest-wise, paint like 500 to 600 points minimum. But we'll see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, when I paint, I sit down in batches.
So in my mind, right,
Yeah.
it's like, what's a reasonable thing to do in a 2-week span, right?
Yeah.
It's more of a, motivation, so that when we get into the gameplay campaign post-rules update,
Yes.
you have all these beautiful armies to just represent on
Yeah.
the table, right? So, like, painting a monster in 2 weeks, that's more than a, sufficient task.
I'm gonna do that.
Basing 6 stands of models really nice. That's a task, So in my mind, that's kind of the scale of things, or paint
Okay.
a stand of infantry, or a character model, or building a regiment.
Oh, I did that. Well, half the stuff is downstairs waiting for second layers of airbrush. My Mahout, I gotta test out some stuff for him first, but he's sitting here ready to
I actually
start
have
getting some paint.
I have the centaurs in the centaur
Bows or non-bows?
both. I have 2
Okay, the
boxes.
bows of the Caracas.
Yeah, I have both. Well, they build both, but I have
Yes.
2 boxes. I still have to build those.
I have 1 box built. That was the one that Parabellum sent. Thank you very much for that. But they sent that, so I assembled those. They've been sprayed, but they haven't started getting their paint on it. I'm painting my Cultists first, which
I saw that Rich was painting them, and I'm like, with the one model I probably will never pick up are the cultists.
okay.
Oh,
Because
I
they're
like the
humans.
models.
because they're human. Oh, it has nothing to do with like the amount of something. The point of Old Dominion is that you are playing the undead.
But they're literally fanatical cultists and assassins.
Mm.
They are the ones who said,
And they're
good.
brainwashed, in a sense.
Yeah, they are.
Effectively,
The
yeah.
power of the pyre.
Yeah, they're the literal moths to the flame.
I don't know. That's like playing Necrons and playing like humans that allied with the Necrons. This doesn't feel
It's like
right.
playing Necrons and playing Flayed Ones. How about that?
That's what I was expecting him to go with, actually, rather than like.
Well, look, because
scarab
flayed
mining
ones are
things.
still Necrons.
Not according to them, they're not.
Oh, really? Oh,
No, well,
They
because the
think they're
flare
not.
virus essentially makes you think that you are organic or should be organic, and it's a. I haven't read some of the newer books where they do a bit more of that, so they might have changed a little bit of the ideas, but that's kind of what it always was.
makes sense.
I think I did buy the cultist myself. They sent me the Mahout. So I assembled that bad boy.
Actually, since we're talking about this is what I
Yeah. Steve, do you know how they found out that you guys were doing this?
So as it turns out, our area rep is in our Discord.
Okay.
So when I pinged at the Conquest section of the Discord,
Yeah.
they got the ping. They're like, "This is sick. I love this idea. Let's do it."
Parabellum's a pretty damn good. I like how outsourced they are. But anyway, yeah. So here's the old one. Here's the old skull cannon. Oh, and
Yeah.
I forgot how bad I have to like do it like this. There we go.
Yeah.
So here's the old soul, and then the new one is this one. So they're not riding the back; they're riding the front. So it's they have a little like little podium that they stand on. So they're like,
So So that way they're in the way of the cannon when it fires.
No. The cannon fires above their head. See,
Yeah, as long as they don't like, hey, what was that over there? And he turns his head.
he turns his
gone.
head.
Just removed.
I don't think they put much ingenuity into a skull cannon. I was gonna say, I don't think that there's much ingenuity or much thought going into gigantic demon slaved to a thing shooting skulls.
I don't know. Korn's kind of the demon engine guy. He's got some sort of engineering background going on with sensible design.
That is
True.
true. I mean, they got that. There's other ones like everyone else gets, like the Defiler and stuff like that, and the Hellbrutes and all. But him, he's like, nah, not cannon on wheels. Let's do this.
Actually, now that I think of it, most of the Arbor machines are Korn, right? You have the Brass Scorpion, that one's Korn.
Yeah,
You
Brass
have
Scorpion
the
is-
Slaughters, both sets of Slaughters are Korn.
Yep.
Those are the guys with the crab legs.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
Are
harpoons.
Juggernaut
Not
mechanical
specifically.
or
no.
They
Okay.
They're more
used
generic.
to be machines. I think they used to be machines, but now they're more flesh-like. I actually don't know about Juggernauts or Blood Crushers, I should say. Are they mostly machines still? I can't remember their lore.
I don't.
Huh.
I can't say for sure I ever knew their lore. And also the Lord of Skulls or whatever.
That's
it is.
of course. How we get
Oh yeah,
and the Kaitan.
and the Kaitan.
Yep.
Yep.
The much better looking Kaitan, in my opinion. Actually,
Is
yeah,
that the one that's the Lord of Skulls on legs?
Yes. They
More or
took the
less,
Lancer. They took the Lancer. It looks so much better.
You guys don't like trains?
Oh god, I hate the choo-choo. I don't think you
I
ever
like
so
trains, but not with arms.
I was at a tournament, and this is like the last time I took custodians right before the codex dropped.
Yeah.
And I think it was a doubles tournament. And I was, of course, playing custodians with Blade Champion, Wardens, all that. It was a Toy Wiz. And someone had the Lord of Skulls. And I'll always remember my Blade Champion. It was the Henry Cavill, because the Blade Champion is based off of Henry Cavill. It was the one with his face on it. And the guy was making so much fun of me. He's like, he ain't gonna do shit, whatever, right? He hit everything. He hits on twos. I rolled out of, I think it was 5 or 6 attacks, 6 sixes. So they are devastating wounds at 3 damage each. So he just, I don't know, Henry Cavill jumped on and ripped his head off essentially. And then it exploded and killed everything around it. It was fantastic. It was like so cinematic.
That guy didn't realize he was
He is
really
the
against your
Emperor.
dice.
Yeah. It was, I was like, dude, don't insult it. And Blade Champions.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
why
think
it
he was
happened,
gonna
because he insulted it. Your dice knew.
Yeah. They knew always.
Oh,
Dave.
speaking of Dan's dice, did you get the new Custodes dice when they came out?
What?
Dan's look is that he didn't know they existed.
Oh well, now
He's gonna go look.
I guess
at
Dan's
order.
kids aren't going
Wait,
to
did the
college
camera
anymore.
pick me up like moving my hands?
No, but the look on
Oh
your
my God.
face said it all.
Oh, wait, what? No, wait. The new, wait, is it the red and gold ones that they came out with? Like the old ones, right? Or were there new ones?
I
Don't do
know.
this
There's
to me.
new ones.
Don't do this to me.
I've been trying to avoid their dice. I just go Baronet dice.
That was the only non-Baron of dice I have. Shout out to Baron of Dice. I have all of your dice. If you want to sponsor me, I'll take it because I own all your fucking dice. I don't see it on the site, so I wonder if like it was a limited edition thing. It had to be, but I remember the old ones, the red and gold ones, were just awful. For those who don't know, I have the. Oh, I see it right here. Ew. No.
You're
Steve,
good.
no.
You don't like those?
The gold with like the red. Are you talking about the gold with the red? I'm
Oh,
looking at them right now.
Oh,
First
I
of
thought you'd
all,
like those.
if I'm counting this correctly, that's a box of 12.
Correct.
They used to come in
Yes.
box of 20s.
Oh yeah, no.
Yes.
It's shrinkflation.
And it's so hard to see. I have the gold and the black ones. And then the black and the gold ones, the special edition ones. So I have those two. So those are so easy to read. I can't read that yellow and gold nonsense. That would drive me actually up the wall. No. We're good. I got so scared for, oh my God. Okay. We're good, guys. Return to normal programming. Oh my God.
All right, so Dan hasn't done much because children be in the way and all.
I played Space Marine too.
I've only done the first mission. I've just been too busy otherwise, but
Yeah.
I'm playing it on my PS5. I'm enjoying it, so I can play campaign with PC people, but I can't do the multiplayer. that it's not the cross compatibility isn't through multiplayer, it's through campaign play.
I'm able to wait. That's hold on, pause. That's not true. Wait,
That's
like
what
oh,
their press releases said.
when are you talking about when you say multiplayer? You mean multiplayer like PvP or multiplayer as in like the
PvP.
operations?
PvP.
Oh,
Or
I
maybe
don't know.
operations. I don't know. Have you guys been doing
Operations is
operations with
crossplay.
PS5?
Yes, operate. I've been doing it with PS5 and Xbox. Those are
Oh, okay.
complete.
Well, then
Yeah,
I'll start playing with you guys because I haven't been doing it. I figured I couldn't,
yeah.
so I
No,
was like, I'll get
operations are
going.
completely cross compatible.
Okay, so the next time you guys are doing it, I'll join in.
You just have to sign up for their Oh my God, what is it called? Their special thing.
Yeah, it's like Battle.net kind of thing. It's not
Yeah,
that one, but
yeah.
it's that same idea. That's fine. I sign up
I'm
for
like
stuff
my
like that.
mind kind of blanked out because I couldn't remember what the hell it was.
I don't know. Nothing I have is sacred. People can have my email list and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That ain't bothering me none. How about you, Steve? What have you been up to in these last? People probably have only seen you lately in terms of some of the First Blood
The
battle
battle
reports we
reports.
did.
Yeah. So there's been a little bit of gaming, mostly just chilling. Some painting, some building. There's an upcoming Zone Mortalis Mortals only event going on at the shop by
Yep.
me. That is in a month from now. And like, oh cool, I'll join that. And then I realized I have Iron Warriors and Salamanders as nice big fleshed out armies. I have like a little seedling of a Mechanicum army and a little seedling of some Solar Auxilia allies for my Salamanders. Like, oh, I'll work on the Solar Auxilia. It's be a great push to push. Make a nice chunk out of them. Then I realized how few points the models are.
Yep.
Oh, like none. But that guy, he's
Yeah.
Yep.
5 points.
It's like 10 points a model for the fancy guys. Like, oh no. But if you do a nice big Life Ward section, that adds the points quickly. Give them all Thunderhammers.
Now,
Even with all that, it's like a 500 point list I have together. So I'm probably gonna end up doing the Salamanders robots as Mechanicum robots, and then ally in Solar Auxilia.
now,
Or
what do you mean when you say
something
mortals
like
only?
that. I mean, no
Um,
Marine,
no Marine. So it's Sisters of Silence, Solar
Oh,
Aux,
no Transhuman.
no
Yep.
demons or no? I can't remember that one.
I would think no.
I think it's no demons.
I
Yeah,
think it's
those
no
aren't
demons.
mortal.
So I'm
Demons are
taking
actually
Sisters.
immortal.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm taking Sisters of Silence, which is funny because I thought of my painted models, and I think give me a second. I have 60 painted models of Sister of Silence, not including HQs. So they're in squads of 10, so 6 squads of 10, and I thought I had enough for 1,500. I do not, and I just realized how many points their stupid little transport their worm tanks are. Because that's I would take those because they're assault vehicles. You protect them.
It's
Those
like
things are like
65 points for 5, right?
Something like that, yeah.
60, yeah, 60 to 65. And the tanks are like 300. So I'm like, oh, that's how I'm able to like make it at 2,000 points because the tanks. Without the tanks, I'm like sitting at like 1,200. I'm just like, Jesus.
So you just have enough.
Yeah, wait, yeah, because it's 1,250, right?
Yep.
So I'm sitting at 1,100. I'm sitting at 1,100. So I can actually respawn most of my
That is
stuff.
something that you could put a unit that you only own one of in your list multiple times and then just bring it back from the dead
Yeah.
later. There's a whole mechanic for that, which is going to be such a lifesaver for people.
Yeah.
That is really useful because otherwise, that's a lot of stuff to just suddenly have on hand.
Yeah. But it should be a super cool event. So I've been working on some stuff for that. So far, I've built 20 Solar Auxilia with the Volkites. I just picked up another box of 10, so that'll put me up to 30 bodies of Volkites. But I think this one I'm actually going to reutilize the bodies to convert a cooler command squad.
Mm-hmm.
And, make solar pattern cohorts for the command squad. Kind of tie it all together.
Yeah, I don't have anything that would be classified as mortal. I mean, they say this is boys busy season, so
Mechanicum.
events I can't do much of.
Mechanicum was also, I think, included.
And
Yeah, I would.
Yes.
I don't have the Mechanicum stuff. Some of the new stuff has looked nice, but I'm like, you know what? I got other stuff that I'm working on. Like, it's like surrounded by tons of conquest models. Didn't get nearly as much progress as I would have liked on my Sorcerer King, so I've been trying to spend more time on them. This week I don't really get much time, but next week I should. And then a little bit more of the Ultimate Minion stuff, and then I still have some Spire things I have to work on, some 100 Kingdom stuff I have to work on, and all of that. Did paint, I don't know, 2,500 points worth of OCR Bone Reapers in like 2 weeks, though, so.
Eh.
Well, I like
I always, you know what's funny? I remember you brought them to the store once. I
Okay.
always thought they were bigger than what they were.
But that's
I-
true of most models I find, especially
Yeah,
in
but
GW stuff. The infantry is actually very, very tiny when you look
no,
at
but
it.
like, okay, maybe it's just me, but I remember like the Beastmen. Beastmen aren't 32 mils because they're big, they're thick.
Yeah.
And those are just the normal gores, right? The ungores are small, they're on 25s. Stormcast, they're on 40s, obviously. So I'm like, I thought the Aussie Arcs were on 32s, that they were like Necron size.
Some stuff, yes, but the base like Mortek Guard, no, they're 25s.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just very, very surprised.
No, they're reasonably small and rather emaciated because they don't have any skin or anything like that. But no, they're actually pretty small when it's all said and done. But easy enough to paint it up. So like I said, I paint up a
Exactly.
bunch of those. I have a few more things. I have to gonna do some proxies for, is it the Morghast or whatever like that, so I can test them out before I actually end up pulling a trigger and getting any of those. I know they're very good. I just have to figure out which way I want them or how many kind of thing. And still waiting for my endless spells. They hopefully are coming in soon. And whatever I'm going to use for that giant are Bone Tide Nexus, because I don't really care too much about the model, and I know it's really huge, so I'd rather just use something else by the time.
I mean, listen, it's free. So,
yes.
do you have endless spells?
Yes, we do.
Question mark. I'm trying to think. I can't remember any of the Ossiarch endless spells. I don't know why I can't.
Maybe you never.
Weird.
Knew it.
Huh.
We do. Can't recall off the top of
Yeah,
my
I'm
head.
trying to remember. Like,
exactly
I
what
literally
they
can't remember off
did.
the top of my head what the hell your endless spells are.
I know one of them is a bird. Where's our endless spells? No, that's oh yeah, manifestation. Where's to put it? Yeah, Bone Tide Shrieker. So what's the special on him? He has a shooting attack, decent. A little bit of melee. Both of his attacks, they're essentially like 4 attacks, both like 3s and 4s, 1 rend, D3 damage a pop each. But he minuses 1 to your ward saves within 12 inches. That's his thing. Yeah, so he removes ward. He lowers ward saves. Nightmare Predator, if he was destroyed in a turn on a 4-up, put him back on the board. He keeps coming back. And he's got 6 attacks on 4s and 2s, rend 2 damage. So he's more just trying to chunk through people, but if you're decent at rolls, he's not going away, so you can just keep having him constantly. And then we have a bird. Soul Stealer Carrion. Decent amount of attacks, 4s and 2s with 6 attacks, D3 damage. But your infantry units within 6 are -5 to control score. So if your opponent's just beating you out on control scores, you can take 5 off the cap of their unit. So the first one is the best because lowering people's ward saves is very strong.
Interessante.
Yeah. They're more utility than flat damage. I mean, they all can damage, and the first one's probably decent damage, especially if you roll pretty well in those D3s. But there's other ones that are much more hitting, but those ones, when you bring them, for anyone who doesn't know Age of Sigmar, you get special spells. And when you bring them, you bring the set. So, like, if I bring our lore, you have all 3, and you're not restricted to having 1, like, kind of there. So if you cast 1, you can't cast the same thing, but you can cast a different one, so.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Otherwise, I've just been using, the last time I played with, like, the Gnashing Jaws. Which is good. Mostly because the list just needed more bite. I now have the Tetric Core, so maybe, or a Tetric Cohort. So maybe that does a little bit more, but otherwise I just needed the bite of that other unit, which really helped out a lot. All right. So I know Dan has only lately been playing Space Marine in all its various ways, both the game and then one game with your Custodes. Because I saw you play that. Well, 2 games.
You saw
1 evening.
2 games, yeah.
Yeah, 2 games, 1 evening.
It was my return. it was my return to playing Custodes, and
They're absolutely fine. Dan is
yeah, no, okay, they are. It's just I mm, I don't know.
you like to say
It,
you're not a power gamer when you're like looking at it
no,
like,
it's
oh,
not.
these
It
aren't
has
powerful enough.
nothing to do with power gaming.
Nah, it does.
It has everything to do with the fact with that, like for example,
Who wants to take the best things?
if
Yeah.
you want to have a good game, you got to bring Canis Rex. Like
You
that
can
to
have
me
a
is
good
just
game without it. Don't play like an opponent who's playing the absolute tops thing. You can have a perfectly fine game without it. I played Thousand Suns and I didn't bring anything they say you should bring. Had no Magnus, had no when you do like Vortex Beasts.
this is gonna be mean to say. Is Thousand Suns even like
They're one of yes.
they're one of the top? Oh yeah.
Well, it depends if you run the right list, and there's always back and forth. The
Yeah.
balance right now is actually very good in 40k. It's probably one of the better times it's been balanced.
It is.
But when
That
you
I'll
look at
say.
some of like the biggest ones, like at Nova, they were 2 in the top 10 and stuff like that.
Ooh,
I think
okay.
they're only faction with 2 in the top 10. One of them got like top 3 or 4. So no, they've been doing quite big. But the list, partly because of I can't remember the spell. There's other reasons why, but to
Okay.
me it kind of feels like there's one particularly very good so it's they have, where is it, for Cult of no, not Cult of Magic, that part's okay. The Cabal Sorcerer's ability, you take a bunch of characters to get more Cabal points, because Cabal points are
Okay.
what make you do stuff. Doombolt, that's it. 18-inch psychic shooting attack, or in your shooting
2d3?
phase, not technically a shooting attack because it doesn't replace it. So every
Okay.
turn, one person can do it 7 Cabal points, which is not too tough to get to. On a roll of a 1, it's D3 mortals to the opponent. On a 2 to 5, D3 plus 3, and on a 6,
Ugh.
D3 plus 6.
Ugh.
The player I was going against, he was playing. I think he called it Space Pirates. He was playing Eldari, a little bit more towards like old Harlequinish style, with like Yvrain and all of that,
Yeah.
the Incarnate, as well as like a Death Jester and like a couple other like special characters. He was rather special character heavy. The problem is the special characters don't have mortal wound protection. So yeah, they had
Yep.
Lone Op. I get within 12. Oh, that character's staying up by themselves. They take
Dead.
5 mortals. Yeah, they're just gone. I was just
Yeah.
wiping characters that would have caused me problems just by that. So I do think they have other stuff that's strong. The Mule Vortex Beast at the end of the movement phase. Oh, you're pick one enemy within a range, or it might be multiple enemies within a range. You can put some mortals on them that way. So they have multiple ways to kind of get past most armies' defenses with a couple of the units, which help. And then like Magnus is a big thing. But I was testing out Rich's and Josh's stuff, and they either don't own a Magnus or ain't painted, so he wasn't in the box. Can't remember but honestly, I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. 40k, I will say, I think it's some of the more fun it's been currently. Sorry, each enemy within 6 inches. On a 2 to 3, it's a mortal wound. 4 to 5, D3. On a 6, D6.
Okay.
So
Makes
you
sense.
pop them into the middle. They do these multiple little mortal wound bubbles. You can Doombolt someone for even more, and then you actually go in and get your swings in. So,
All right, makes sense.
what have you been playing, Steve, before we drain you down any holes here?
Well, I did get to play some Titanicus last night. That was fun.
Oh, look at you.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah. I drove up an hour to Kirwan's up in the Catskill, well, the town of Catskill. Met up with Sean, and we play tested his Eldar rules that Death of a Rubricist / Apologist put together.
Okay.
They're really interesting. I like the weapon design a lot. So now some Imperial weapons will be Shield Bane draining, right?
Yeah.
Some Eldar weapons are instead rapid draining. So if you want the rapid rule, it's draining on their reactors. So like they have some really interesting trait combinations on the weapons, which I really liked. And instead of having shields, they have holofields,
Yeah.
which is a -2 to be hit, which gets up to -3 if they're in full stride, I believe, or maybe even -4. And then
Okay.
you can't target locations because you're seeing all these little flickers of where the Titan might be, as opposed to where it actually is. So you can't really target things when you can't be sure you're shooting at a location. So it's definitely a very interesting rule set. I was caught off guard by how heavy the armor itself was, though, when you did connect. But the rules are in a playtest state. I definitely want to play a couple more games against them. Just get a feel for what they're doing right, what could use some tweaking, because it's the early stages. It's beta test, but
Exactly.
they're definitely dope. And I suggest if anyone really likes Eldar and/or Titanicus to check them out.
Where could someone find them?
That's a great question. I got just sent the PDF.
That's good.
But they're
I love
really
it.
cool. There's also some orc rules that are put together. I haven't looked at them yet, but from what I've been told, there's a really cool boiler mechanic where you don't want to under pressure or over pressure the
Now that
reactor. You
sounds
want to
cool,
balance it in the
actually.
middle.
Now, see,
So of
that sounds
course,
fun,
orcs,
cool.
the chaotic faction, have the most in-depth rules that you need the most control over. So it seems interesting. I definitely want to see how these things all play out because the concepts are wild, but they feel like they belong in the same sort of game as baseline Titanicus, Like they do things differently, but they fit while being different. I'm sure everyone out there has been like, let's try some fan rule stuff. Has found fan rules that write a new game from scratch and just call it an expansion to the original, or do something that's just a completely different feel because there's too many special rules attached to try to make
Yeah.
it feel special. But these rules have that touch of something different, but it feels thematically in line with what we know. So I'm really excited to see how these things develop.
Are these freely available rules, or do you have to be in a special spot to find it? Could you publish it somewhere?
Again, I'm not sure. I will have to ask my buddy who I know is in the playtest group. I don't know if they're open playtest or if it's closed playtest right now. But oh my god, they're so cool.
The orc rules sound cool. It reminds me of Steam Tank in Fantasy. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember how you had to gauge the steam, how much steam points you wanted to put in? That's what it sounds like. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. So some really cool stuff happening there. And then I finally started playing a bit of Old World again. Not a lot, just 2 games, but
What faction?
I think I like it. Chaos Dwarves.
Oh, okay.
I got a couple third-party designs going, and I have enough stuff together to play a 2,000-point army. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a 2,000-point list that works, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you have 2,000 points of
it's
models.
legal, but it's not coherent necessarily.
Yeah. That's the only way I play half the time.
But it's cool. I like the ideas of how the army comes together. It's just different than the other dwarves in terms of how you put together a list, I think. So the big thing with them is that they have lots of very diverse unit types, but not specializations. Whereas the dwarf army has every specialization you can imagine. There's a stat line for it with special rules that go with it. But for Chaos Dwarves, you have your low tier dwarf, your high tier dwarf for units. You have the goblins and the goblins on wolves. You have the bull centaurs. You have the fire demons. And then you have the suite of artillery. And then you have, your wizard, high level, low level, character, high level, low level, goblin boss, orc boss, and black orcs. So you don't get, specialized things like, miners or quarrelers versus thunderers versus so on and so forth. It's just, here's a chaos dwarf. You give him a handgun that's also a combat weapon. You could give him a blunderbuss. You could give him a great weapon, but you're not getting that, custom tailored stat line and rules package that other dwarves have.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't played. It's been a little bit since I played Old World, and I haven't seen too much of effectively the PDF armies outside of like the demons that Dan has and all. So like Chaos Dwarves, honestly, I just haven't looked through their stuff, so I don't know their feel. I've looked through a few of the others, especially Skaven, which is kind of a shame what they did with Skaven, but you know,
Skaven are okay. So I talk with David a lot, not
yeah,
David Berger, but David Quinn.
yeah,
Skaven aren't bad. It's just there's some of their units. It's funny enough. It's the demons. It's the demons in 30K problem where some of their units are just they're just terrible. Like
Skaven are kind of bad.
there's some units that are good though, and there's some builds that are good. But the problem is it's kind of mono build. Like rat
So
ogres.
it's not internally balanced.
Yeah, it's not
No,
internally
not at
balanced at
all.
all. Like rat ogres are awful. Like
Yes.
they are awful. But the rat ogre, but not rat ogres. Um, a block of God, I can't remember them. The guys with halberds. Jesus.
Some sort of rat. I don't know. I don't
Storm
know the
storm
names.
vermin. Storm
Storm
vermin.
Storm vermin, probably. Yeah.
think
Storm
they're called-
vermin, like only the greatest rats to ever live.
Yeah, I know. Storm vermin backed up with like a warlock. Oh my god.
Give me 1 second. All right, so pause it there for a second because the wife had some questions for me. Yeah, I gotta get back to doing more Old World and just everything, I guess. We're actually running an MCP. Well, I'm running an MCP tournament next Sunday, the upcoming Sunday. If you're local to the area, please come out. Maybe we're going to run one. But I know we haven't had a lot of signups, but I know the locals don't like signing up. They just show up. So I don't know. Either way, I'll be there. And if we ain't running that, maybe I will play some other stuff. So. All right. Anything else you've been doing, Steve? I know Dan doesn't have much because he has a child.
Yeah. Let's see, what else have I been up to? So we talked about Old World,
Yes.
Conquest Hobby, Heresy Hobby, Titanicus demo. Oh, there is the next Everwinter coming up with an absolutely incredible Horus Heresy event at it.
Which one
This
was
is-
Everwinter? Remind me.
Yeah, remind me with
That's
this
the
one.
one up in the Boston area.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yes.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Last year was in December. This year it's early January. I want to say, oh, if I get this wrong, I'm going to be in so much trouble. It's early January. We'll keep it that.
Yeah. If you get me the
It's,
things, I can put it in the show notes.
Absolutely. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, one of the early weeks of January. 3-day event, insane production value on this thing.
Mhm.
I've been doing some stuff in the background for, I guess you could call it set dressing
Okay.
for the event. Taking my inner theater tech child back out to build just set dressing pieces. Some stuff that I think isn't a spoiler because the last event they ran had this. Their Isfon 3 event that happened a few months ago. There is a comic book produced that has all of the mission scenarios in it. Some
Wow.
lore background on what the campaign weekend is. This one's based on Beta Garmin 3,
Okay.
which is one of the mining outpost, like one of the mining worlds in the Beta Garmin cluster. It is the one that had the giant Titan death battles in it, so it's kind of sick as a backdrop to be fighting in. Whole bunch of custom scenarios, classic scenarios. There's gonna be a Titan walk one of the nights, so if you really love Titans in 28 mil scale and you're near Boston, check this thing out. Or if you're just like Horus Heresy in general, because there's more than just the one Titan walk the one night. There's almost, an entire Horus Heresy event. Zone Mortalis, pitched battle games. We're currently playtesting some concepts for a siege-based scenario. Overall, though, like, these guys are insane. They have videos of the different characters in the setting, like giving mission briefings. It's absolutely incredible stuff.
Maybe I do this one this time around.
January.
I
Hell
So
yeah.
not saying I can commit, but January stuff like that is just easier because one, December has PAX Unplugged and I always go to, but also December's just busy with other stuff. Like when you get close to Christmas, can't really do much of anything, personally
Oh
at
yeah,
least.
works out great because it's the college winter recess.
Yeah, I do like the sound of that kind of thing.
Is there a thing that they put out for Everwinter yet, or no? It's still not in the works.
Um, early ticket sales have opened up on their website, which is Wicked Dicey. I'll send Dave the info after this, and he
Yeah,
can
yeah, I
include
can
it.
put it in.
Yeah.
I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's an insane's the right word for the team behind this.
Everwinter. I'm
It's
looking at
some
it right
good
now.
stuff.
Yeah.
And let's see, other more local and sooner events. There's a Zomar Chalice event coming up,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Mortals. There is Thanksgiving if you're in the North Jersey area.
Yeah,
We're having
that's a very
huge
common
mega
thing.
battle. Yeah, huge mega battle, tons of tanks, giving money to charity. Check it out. In December, there will be another charity event benefiting the National Federation of the Blind, or for the blind, of the blind. And details on that will be coming soon. I don't think they've posted up yet for this year.
Oh, I forgot. Around when is that? Because I remember last year the wife and I went.
Yeah. I know it's December. I forget
December?
which
Okay.
weekend.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a nice thing because it was for anyone who didn't know, like it was a nice little charity thing. It was in, what was it, like almost like an Elks Club kind of place.
Yeah,
But
last year was in American Legion.
oh, it's American
This
Legion.
year
Yes.
will be in a hotel.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I remember my wife did some baked goods for donations. She kind of had at the table with some other people, and I did some board game stuff. I know you guys had some miniatures things going on, but we couldn't stay too long because I think we had a family party later that day, so we were there for like some hours, and then we had to head out and all. Yeah, that she's shaking her head. Yeah, actually, might have been my brother's 60th birthday. Actually, that might have been what it was that particular time. But I remember we had to leave early, so it was enough time for me to be able to play Earth, hang out a little bit, and then we headed out from there. But if you happen to be anywhere local, once we have details of that, I'll post that up, and I will also post up spots related to where you can donate if that's also a cause, especially when you get closer to the holidays. If you're looking to, help someone have a better time, no matter what, thing that you may believe, December is a good time for giving. Any time of the year is, but especially then as well. All right, so that seems to put together a lot of what we've been doing. So maybe because Steve, when do you have to get out of here? I know you said you had to go pick up your lady.
Soon.
Okay, so why don't we take a couple minutes, very briefly?
Mm-hmm.
Although my wife's walking closer, looks like she wants to show me something. They posted up when it is. Okay, December 14th and 15th is the event that Steve was talking about. Yeah, we don't know the hotel yet, but apparently she follows some of the people who have done it. So we know the weekend it'll be is the 14th and 15th. They have not released the exact all the hotel details yet. I don't know why that was tough to say. But, all right, so why don't we very briefly talk about, now that hopefully we're going to start recording, even if not as regular as we used to. I have more stuff that I can do. But what sorts of things do people think they want to be trying to put out? People have any thoughts other than myself of what type of content they actually want to do?
I did pick up a webcam, so in theory I could start recording hobby sessions potentially.
Okay.
If that's something people be interested in watching. I'm not saying I'm any kind of hobby god or anything, but sometimes it's just nice to throw on a camera, paint some stuff up, and talk. So
yeah, I've done that in the past. I like doing that, and also it kind of, anything that feels like it forces your hand to sit down and get into a schedule with hobby and stuff like that, I think is very helpful.
I wonder if people would
doing
be.
stuff like that.
I wonder if people would be interested in how or why I paint so quickly. Do like a
Something
hobby
that,
session.
I think it would be sort of
Dan
like
sold his soul. Next question.
Yeah, Dan's own version of how he does sort of the slap chop thing, because that's to an extent that's
It's
what
not
it is.
even slap chop. I don't.
I
Well, here's what we do. We
it's
set
like
up
a
two
form
cameras.
fruit.
One camera watches Dan painting. The other camera watches me deploy my Iron Warriors.
Oh no,
There we
not
go, yeah.
again.
See, I've never painted while someone deployed, but I did paint orcs while in the middle of a game. And as they were being destroyed, I would take them off and put their paint on them. Like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
now you get your green skin.
Is slap chop where you? Okay, got slap.
It's,
Okay,
it's pretty close to what
It's-
you do,
yeah, it's you.
at least to
it's-
start. You
Crease
might
It's
do
you
more.
shade
spray
by dry
black.
brush.
Yes.
You spray black and then you dry brush the
well, yes,
the
but
white and
it's
stuff.
the idea of
Yep.
Yeah.
Zenithal. It's a
It's the same thing as
Zenithal and
Zenithal, it's
then
just-
some
yeah.
other shit, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I was like, wait a minute, what is slap
Yeah,
chop? I thought it was
I
like
think you do a bit more than that.
It's a
but
modified-
You start with that as a basis, I would say.
yes, and depending on how it's always Zenithal. Even my custodians are Zenithal. They're silver and black. So, I wonder if people would be into that. That'd be kind of cool. People, I have gotten comments like, "How do you paint this so quickly? How do you?" Because like
Well,
even
that's-
this, like
Even
this
if the
looks.
general populace doesn't care, I think in some of the custodes groups, I think
Yeah.
there they would care.
Oh yeah, but like something like this, right? It looks pretty fancy. I don't know if you can see the gore in the inside, right?
I can. Anyone who's
Yeah.
listening on a podcatcher can't, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, but I'm showing the skull can right now. It looks pretty advanced. It looks like you got the silver, the gold, the pink,
Yeah.
the blood, right? This took me 4 hours, maybe 5,
Okay.
right? And it super looks complicated, but the trick is just to kind of, well, the trick is Nuln Oil too. God bless Nuln Oil. But
Talent in a bottle.
you're talent in a bottle.
But
But like
Agric Earthshade was the talent in the bottle.
either one, it depends.
Or
Agric
no,
is
who you're
Devlin
talking
Mud,
to.
I think was.
Devil Mud is not a good
Let's
one.
go back to the old days.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, podcast forums. I know at least myself has been doing a lot more stuff with Conquest. I don't know if there's other particular things. I haven't been doing much with 30K lately. Obviously, we can go back and discuss more 30K. I'd like to. Anything we do, just so people know, based off our schedules, will probably be shorter things. Hopefully not necessarily less stuff overall, but shorter. We're probably not going to have like 2.5, 3 hour episodes just because where life is right now, at least for the while. We probably don't have that available to us. Once Heos is done, I'm at least going to make videos related to the updates from that, but obviously we can do
I'll
some other
definitely
stuff.
join you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm loving the way Conquest is sitting right now, and I can't wait to see how they are updating it.
yes.
I'm actually, you know what I gotta say? I noticed they previewed some of the Old Dominion rules.
Yes.
I like them. I like the preview of the Old Dominion rules.
Yeah.
And I'm actually excited to see how they change it up. I'm hoping, this is a little, I'm hoping that when they change it, they somehow make it so that like the Praetorian block with the Aura of Death is like not necessary anymore.
It's not necessary now.
I mean, you saw the Aura of Death change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the big ones that
Well,
I
yeah,
think
so
that's
that'll
going to
change
change
it, but
it up,
right
yeah.
now, honestly, it's not necessary. No, it's not.
I hate to quote other like podcasts, but like I know I kind of agree with Vol on this, where it's like you kind of need it because in the mid game you need to hold something in the middle, and that's like a block you don't want to charge, or that's a block that it can be healed and you got to kill it, or it's like annoying. So I think it's one of those necessary things. But anyway, that's a different discussion for a different time.
If it was necessary, I think you would have seen it in both lists going to Heos. You did see it in one of them.
You saw it in
other
one of
list
them,
does
yes,
have
I
some
saw.
Praetorians, but I wouldn't call it necessarily the same sort of death block. Although they maybe they could do it. I forget if the other one
yeah,
had it.
hold
I
on.
can't pull it up right now.
You're talking about, I know you're talking about the one with like it was I think 4 blocks of Praetorians.
I think so.
6.
I did a video
Yeah.
discussing both of it. I'll say
Yeah.
I truly do not feel it's necessary. I think it is a good centerpiece, and I think it causes your opponent to have a problem that can be tough to solve.
Oh yeah.
But I do think you absolutely have other options around it.
Mm.
I remember because I did the one for City States and Old Dominion, and I have another one I'm going to make shortly. More about activation amounts, more about the other facets to the list rather than individual models to discuss. Like
Yeah.
right now, I will say, taking a look at the list, Monster and Brute are very light in terms of what you might call the top level stuff.
Which is very surprising because
Well,
usually
In my video, that's what I'm going to discuss. I don't think it
Yeah.
is. And I think there's some reasons why, but that's going to be a separate thing that I'm recording. If not tonight, tomorrow. I'm going to try to do it tonight, but I don't know. So games coverage. Now that we're trying to do this again, probably want to talk 30K. We're definitely going to talk a bunch of Conquest stuff. is there other particular games that either of you guys care enough about that you want to say things about?
I'd love to do eventually a battle report on BattleTech. That'd be kind of
It
fun.
can be done. I'm even more just talking about the sort of the regular stuff we do. 'Cause
Yeah.
the battle reports, those can always be whatever we like, but
I got nothing. I'm fried.
that's all right. You're allowed
Yeah.
to be fried. I
I just gave 2 baths to my daughters. Um, one of them has crown cap, so I have to like focus on her head and scrub it to get the stuff off.
All right.
So I'm drained by this time.
That's all right. No, I figured this was more of a slow to get back to form thing. I just think
Yeah.
I bring it up because in that way it kind of discusses what our sort of thoughts are, and for anyone who's
Oh,
listening,
absolutely.
they have an idea of what it is that we're currently thinking. Because as time goes on, things that they do change. Like I know we did some stuff with Imperialis before. Probably not doing too much with that now, just because I know like both Dan and I have been trying to downsize a little bit. There's just too many different games that we're doing, and time becomes a factor no matter what it may be.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Well, I know Steve has to get out of here pretty soon, and like I said, it is a Sunday night, so we're going to be recording more on Sunday nights, just because it works better for us. And might be recording a battle report tomorrow. Like I said, I told Steve I had to let him know. Either way, I have some gifts from Parabellum to drop off to him because they sent some stuff that is City States related, and I don't need City States. I don't need any more things to work on. So, and he could use more stuff, I'm sure. His painting
always.
table is probably not falling over yet.
Oh no, definitely not. No, I definitely don't have entire armies waiting for paint.
Well, now you have more. Well, not entire armies. Now you got pieces of armies.
This is true.
Well,
That's much
Dan
more
will put out a video
bite-sized.
about how to paint super fast. You watch it, and you just do what Dan does. There you go.
I mean, the trick is
Sounds
actually
like a plan.
this is going to sound weird. The trick is literally having multiple of the same models. So once you
Well,
get
it's
like,
called batch painting.
well, it's not even that. So like, the custodians I've been painting them since 2017, right? I can get a squad of 10 custodians and paint them within an hour because I know where the parts are, what I need to paint, who, like what, like with the skull cannon, it still took me about 4 to 5 hours. But if I paint a third one, it's going to take me 2 to 3 because I now know
I
what to
want to
do.
watch Dan paint a custodian blindfolded.
I think I can. I don't know if that's even like, that'd be sad.
Yeah. That'd be
That-
good.
that
I mean,
would
you would
be-
have your hands so you could at least tell general space. I'm curious to see if we gave Dan like 1 hour blindfolded. So we could find a way to make sure you knew where different colors of paint were.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then you just go about it.
Oh, here's what you do. What you do is you get a screen to block his sight to the model.
Oh, and then the paints
The
are on his
paints are right
side, so
there.
that because
Yeah,
otherwise
that's-
you're gonna be missing the paint. Like otherwise you're gonna
Yeah.
miss the paints. It's gonna get real bad. I like that. I like that
that'd
as
be
a custodes
interesting.
challenge for Dan. What can he do if he knows the paint he has, but he can't see it by more than
Oh,
just a
that's
feel?
interesting.
It's like the movie Ghost, but for nerds.
Yeah,
Love
pretty
this.
much.
Maybe Patrick Swayze can help you. He's a ghost now, right?
I think
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah, I think a while back. All right. Well, I think on that we will call it here. Like I said, the point of this was just to kind of try to start getting back to what we had been doing, things like that. I tried to keep some other stuff going. I know I didn't put out too much for a little bit, but trying to get back to that as well. That have plans for quite a bit of Conquest stuff once all that updates. 30K, we'd like to start getting back to that as well. What I will say, there's some stuff they put out for it. Sometimes that gets a little bit tough because that's kind of out of our own pocket for some of those things. So we have to kind of see, like when they put out books, that can take a little bit because we have to actually be able to get our hands on that as well, because there's the way that GW does its structure. But there's other things in particular that you would like to see talked about, covered, anything like that. Always let us know. We're always out there looking for additional topics. I have some other ones in mind, but I'd always want to discuss with them first before we say any of it and commit to any of that. But all right, as always, then on behalf of everyone on the show, has a good hobby. It's a great gaming.